Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the
Lume Plotters.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yes. You also had trouble counting from 3 to down to 1 a minute ago. You forgot about the 2 comes before 3. Yes.
My brain is working on half capacity today.
No, I slept like garbage last night as well. I mentioned an episode ago, I think. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. That we got the new puppy.
Yes.
And he has this habit. And it's not the most conducive to my sleep. He likes to wake up and recomfort himself, I guess, get more comfortable. And he will walk around the bed because the dogs sleep in the bed with us. The old dog did this too, but the old dog was, kind of walking around in between the human bodies. This one does not give a shit. It will literally just jump up on you, wake you up, then kind of move you out of the way and say, no, I want to be in this spot. And then you'll lay back down. So I think like 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night, I woke up and there was a dog standing on top of me.
Yes. I know how that feels, though we only allow one dog in the bed because the other one would keep us awake the entire night. But even this one, 15 kilos, French Bulldog. So if he decides that he lies somewhere, he weighs 100 kilos.
Yes.
He's impossible to move. And
I sent you that video, remember?
Yes, you have to sliver around the dog, and it's just absolutely insane of how much discomfort you go through, or lack of sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
Just so that this little potato can have his sleep then, yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so the video that I sent Ralph on Instagram was about the rules of a French Bulldog, right? And basically they said, even though they weigh 15 kilos, when they decide to sit or lay down, they weigh 100 kilos.
100%. They are defying gravity in the
immovable objects. Yeah,
in a negative way. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're trying to let both dogs sleep in the bed. I find it, unfair if one gets it, the other one doesn't get it, and I don't want to pick preferences, but it depends on their personality, I guess. So we'll see how.
Fairness is one thing, but we also need to sleep, right? I mean,
and this is the thing: is how come one can do it but not the other? And you have 2 dogs of the same breed. I have 2 dogs of the same breed.
Yeah.
Why are they different?
They're super different.
Yep.
Just character-wise, absolutely super different. There could be different breeds, actually. Certain things are are similar, but then other things are completely weird and completely different. Yeah. What else has happened? Formula One. We have had an incredible change, and just to get an RM watch, Lewis Hamilton changed teams.
Yes, I mean unbelievable. So he must have not liked IWC. But But the issue is now, unfortunately, the Dubai Mall boutique has made a very big display towards Lewis Hamilton. So at some point, they're going to have to either rewrap that car into someone else's number, or they're going to, of course, remove it and replace it. I don't know who's coming. There's been some. For those of you that don't know, we should say Lewis Hamilton has officially announced that he's switching to Ferrari.
In 2025.
In 2025, which is not this upcoming season, but the following season. This means, of course, Carlos Sainz is out. Who knows where? Being that Alfa Romeo is changing into Audi. Carlos's dear papa drives for Audi in the rally.
Yes.
Dakar. And I was thinking, what if, Carlos Sainz Sr. goes to Ingolstadt and sits down with the guys and said, listen, I want Junior to come join you. And I doubt they're going to say no. So that could be an avenue.
He's a good driver. I mean, there's not so many people available at the moment, right? I mean, with super licenses and stuff, unless you're taking rookies. But would Mercedes take somebody from their rookie team? Maybe they would.
Well, what about
Mick Schumacher is still
exactly
there as a reserve
still
driver.
The reserve driver.
But is he it pains me to say that as a German, but is he the caliber? I am not so sure, right?
Well, Toto seems to believe in him.
I mean, he won Formula 2, so he's not a bad driver. I mean, he has had his successes, but
And I don't understand, how do all these guys win Formula 2 and then go on to suck so much? But the other thing is,
because I think
I
I
do believe anyone in a Haas car is going to suck, right? I mean, you look at Magnussen, you look at whatever his name is, Hulkenberg.
But you know what,
good.
Hulkenberg. I mean, I was surprised technically in the Haas team when Mick Schumacher was consistently outperformed by Magnussen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now Magnussen is consistently outperformed by Hulkenberg. So that shows me that, well, some caliber of them, right, of the drivers. And Hulkenberg is a driver who has had 300 Grand Prix starts and never been on the podium in his entire career.
A loser.
He is a good driver, but always had the worst bad luck in history. I mean, even when he had, like a podium in reach because he was driving in a Mercedes at the time or whatever as a reserve driver, and he always had a car failure, engine failure, somebody crashing into him. Not his fault, but he never made it on the bloody podium. And I really wish that once in his career he gets there in one of the three spots.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Others say Alonso might go to Mercedes. I could see that happening with his upward trajectory.
We had a comment. Yeah, we had a comment where somebody said, well, they should be ashamed of themselves, basically, just still hogging the seats. They should leave them for younger drivers. They are past their zenith watch reference.
Well, when Alonso was for the first half of the season on podium every single race.
I know. And that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
He's hugging anything.
You cannot, exactly. You cannot blame, that's my point as well. You cannot blame the drivers for being employed by the teams.
Not just that, for being good at it, because we had new guys come in. Two new guys went through, and Nick De Vries and Lawson, both in and out.
Yeah.
And for once again, an old guy, Ricardo. So there's a reason they keep selecting the old guy over the new guys. The new guys are not performing. Oscar Piastri is doing great, by the way. He's new.
Oh, yeah. Russell was new and he's doing okay.
Russell's doing fantastic as well. So
I must say, I was surprised. I thought with Russell and Lewis Hamilton in the same team that we will see Russell being way more on Hamilton's neck than he was actually. It was surprising to me. I expected him to be better. Russell, he's good.
Russell? No, I thought they were pretty even. They were pretty even, I think. I mean, there were some races where Hamilton outperformed Russell and others when Russell outperformed Hamilton.
Yeah, but if you look at the points, I mean, big difference.
I like Russell. I have nothing.
Me too. I just expected him to be even better.
Got out of the car after the Zhou Guanyu crashed in Silverstone last year, and Russell stopped and got out of the car and ran to him to try to help.
Yep.
And then and that showed me the kind of person he is. And I'm like, okay, so he's a cool dude. He's
nice.
Nice. This reminds me of the old Schumacher and Senna era, right? When other drivers would do this. But then the problem was he got back in the car and the car was functional. He could have driven it. He got out to help someone. And then they told him, no, you got out of the car, you're disqualified.
Yeah, because the rules are once you get out of the car, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So then basically the idea is, let him burn in a fiery inferno and somebody else will deal with it.
Yeah, it's not nice for the drivers to say like, okay, so now you're being penalized for helping.
And he was quick to it too. He of course he spun, but then he still, instead of continuing, he jumped out to go check on his, friend.
What to do. I mean, yeah. But anyhow, so coming back to Lewis Hamilton, he's now with Ferrari. He's signed with Ferrari. I mean, not now, 2025. It's a bit odd to just announce this before this 2024 season starts.
Yeah, it's very strange. Something's afoot. I don't know why, but ultimately we're going to get a Richard Mille Lewis Hamilton edition. And that's not 99% sure. That's 1,000% sure, because he is the quintessential Richard Mille owner wearer. And IWC never suited him. I always thought it was like a forced collaboration, which of course it was. It just never seemed very...
No, he doesn't. I mean, with all
gel.
due respect, and also the watches he chose to actually be his watches that he would wear, they didn't really suit his wrist much. I think they were too big. They were just not.
Yes.
It just didn't feel right. I mean, him in a like Mark 20 or something, that would have been good. Maybe even some Portofinos
I don't.
or so.
He's a little loud for a Mark 20.
Smaller Portugueses. I know, but this is the thing. I mean, you can't put the dress watch on a Formula One driver, but on the other hand, a Mark 20 with a bracelet or something.
No. How about let's meet in the middle. Here's what he needed: a green or blue dial, Big Pilot 43.
No, 43. I don't think it suits him. It's just too big. Too chunky, too
but
tall.
He went for the bigger one, the 45.
I know.
He continually gravitated to these massive watches. A 43, I've put the 43 on. And the 43 is wearable on a 6.5-inch wrist. The lugs are very short. Lug to lug, it's the same as my Pelagos FXD. So it's not that big. 50 mm, I think 52 mm lug to lug. So I think it's doable. It's doable. And... I don't know his wrist size. I don't think he advertises it very much, but he can't be very big. I mean, these Formula One guys are not very big, right? So
no, they aren't. I mean, there's like Hulkenberg is one of the bigger ones, right? And who was Weber? Weber was really tall as well.
No,
Mark
what's
Webber.
Ocon is huge.
Yeah.
Ocon is like
One, I mean, otherwise
6 foot something,
small,
but he's skinny. He's a thin. You know, he weighs something like 74 kilos, and he's like 2 meters tall.
That's a challenge, because the weight is. I mean, now they have new rules, right? I think they had the rule that you couldn't do. What was it? You had to compensate for the weight or something, and now they have some. I don't know. The rules and regulations are a bit better, so you're not so heavily penalized if you have a heavy driver, because others will have to compensate for this the weight advantage. But it was a time where they could eat just, I don't know, they had their nutritionist being completely...
As some of you may know, I do this, during the weekends, I do the scrutineering for certain race series. So the technical inspections for the cars. And yes, there is basically now we're weighing the cars with the driver in and all the equipment.
Yes.
So essentially, there's a minimum weight of driver plus equipment plus car. And if you don't meet that minimum weight, you have to add ballast.
Yeah.
So,
which is good, because otherwise, I mean, it would be really, you have no chance. If you are 50 kilos and another driver is 70, you wouldn't, as a 70-kilo driver, you wouldn't get a seat, right? Because people would say, no, sorry.
Yep.
I mean, even Weber and other guys with the tall people had already challenges to just fit into the car, because they would design the car differently if the driver is a bit smaller. So it's strange of what restrictions you have sometimes when in these things where everything matters, every gram. Yeah.
All right. And for those of you that thought this was a watch podcast.
No, it's a Formula One podcast.
Yes. So, okay. All right. Let's move on from Formula One. So it's going to be interesting. We agree. Cool stuff to come.
Yes.
What else? You started by telling me that you were going to tell me something about Rolex. And I'm very curious to hear.
No, nothing special and nothing new about Rolex, but I had yesterday...
Well, you built it up pretty much, so you can't let me or the listeners down.
I just telling you, we need to have somebody on the podcast soon. I met yesterday an old friend of mine, Mark and Oliver, these two guys, and Mark is a guy who has probably owned hundreds of Rolexes in his lifetime, and he has bought and sold them and traded with them, and he knows more about Rolex watches. He has people that are inside Rolex that sometimes confirm and unconfirm specific references and what came with what. And he knows every supplier of Rolex and where they created which dial at which time and which factory did what inside the Rolex universe. And it's just insane. His knowledge is crazy. So I brought my my wife's 1803 day date.
Yeah, the vintage one, right?
Yes. And
Neo vintage.
Here, what can you tell me about it? And it's just like he just spurted everything out and talked about all of the different references, which I mean, there's just numbers flying around, which is like, whoa. It was just a tsunami of things.
So what was his verdict on that watch?
Excellent condition. He said it has been polished, but it has been polished extremely well. So it looks like new. So it's really, really lovely. He said, obviously, since it is vintage and is 78 most likely, based on the serial number, must be 4 or 5 million. I have no idea where, but this was still sequential, and they just were counting upwards, right? I mean, think about it. At that time, they only had made about 4 million watches since the 30s or so. Now they're doing
it's crazy.
1.2 million
now they make a million.
But yeah, and it's and he says like this was already. I mean, also from a historical perspective, from this old advertisement that they did with the president, right, the president bracelet and all of the stuff. Of this was always their CEOs buy this for as a gift for their own achievements, right? So that was like the advertisement they had at the time for this day date. The day date was always like this halo model from them. Yeah, and then we went into the pain of how to, before the quick set time, because this is a watch that doesn't really have a quick set and all of this stuff. I mean, it was amazing. And so we have to get him on. And he had 2 watches with him. An Air King that you would like, 34 millimeter. With
which is my favorite Air Kings,
with a logo dial. I forgot which logo it was. It was a P.
Air Kings had a few companies they collaborated with. The most famous of which was the Domino's Pizza, obviously.
Yeah, no, that was not Domino's Pizza.
Then they had had a Pan Am logo. Then they had a Toyota, Honda.
Yeah.
A few car companies like this, and just some random stuff.
Yeah, and the other one he brought was a 2003 date, just also with a logo on it in absolute like new condition, and it was from the SNAS, the Saudi National Air Service.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a cargo airline that is now defunct, but they had obviously some extra 100, and he knows obviously who has commissioned them, how many of them were made, and all of this details, which is just insane. And also he can tell you everything about Kanja dials, everything about Sultan Qaboos and how everything came together and how he started this whole thing and what happened in Dubai at the time with these Kanja dial watches. And you can't believe what happened to, I mean, they just melted them in for the gold because that would be more money for them than actually selling the watch. So they actually removed these Kanja stamps from the dials because they would sell for less money in the international market if they had a logo on it. So they used alcohol and
couldn't you imagine that people are scraping this off?
Yeah. And all of the watches that he had in his hands and sometimes passed on because he said, no, or don't have the money right now, which went eventually for like crazy hundreds of thousands of dollars. No, he's full of amazing stories about Rolex specifically. So we have to get him on. So, yeah.
All right, make it happen.
Yep,
I think that's a good one. All right. So nothing confirmed or unconfirmed about what's coming out this year?
No. I asked him as well. I said, so do you know anything? Would you think that the Pepsi is being discontinued? And he just has the opinion that says like, well, it's one of the most historic models. It's just the Pepsi is the one GMT master that started everything.
You didn't ask about the Celebration OP?
No, I didn't. No, it's a good theory.
We should let him see that one.
But he said
we should let him see the misprint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be very interesting to to ask him what does he think about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So we'll do that.
So yeah, it was really, he would say like, nah, he doesn't see this happening, and if it happens, then probably as a temporary thing. And he said, look, if there's one company that can create these bezels, or doesn't mind if the bezel is a bit more expensive than because it's more complicated to make, then it's Rolex. I mean, he doesn't believe any of these, oh, the bezel is a problem
Yep.
things. He just says like, okay, it's all speculation. They come.
Well, once again, I want the Gurner in stainless steel.
I've seen a couple of mock-ups
gray
of this,
black.
and they
I have
look
too, and it looks
really
awesome.
Cool. They look really cool.
So yes, this would be something that I would definitely be interested in.
Yeah, and
if
I mean,
it ever comes out. But then my wife pointed out to me, even if it does come out, how are you going to get one? And she's got a point.
That's a good question. But the Gurner, the Guinness, or what is it called? There's another way of zombie. Somebody
Guinness.
called it the zombie. I don't know why.
I've never heard that one.
Anyhow,
I heard Guinness.
That's being sold roughly for retail, right? Tiny bit of premium.
Yes, two-tone. But as soon as it becomes
two-tone.
stainless, it's going to go crazy again.
Yeah,
Not crazy like before, but it's not going to be. I mean, once again, if I tell you go find a Sprite or go find a
Much easier.
even
now.
a Pepsi right now on secondhand, it's tough.
Yeah, but coming to the rumors, the rumor mill, there was a video coming out from Rolex. Did you see it? Just recently.
No.
It's on their YouTube channel, and it is titled, I think, the GMT Master 2, right? And these are these little videos that Rolex does.
Yeah, the teasers, right?
Yeah, like these little, I don't know why they do this, but they do. And obviously when I search for Rolex, the Rolex channel doesn't come up, but every other channel talks about Rolex, which is weird. I want to look for just this, anyhow, for the channel, exactly, type channel, Rolex. Yeah, also, okay, let me see, what was the last video? If you change here by latest. Okay, oh my God, they're releasing videos all the time.
Yeah, they are.
Crazy.
There's always these stupid 30-second videos.
Yeah, exactly. 38 seconds. Rolex GMT Master 2. Keep track of ties. 38 seconds long. And if I'm not mistaken, I watched it twice, but I didn't go frame by frame. But there was no Guinness and there was no Pepsi. But there was a Batman, there was a root beer, there was a... by the way, a friend of mine just picked up his root beer yesterday. I got him a root beer. 3 months wait. Bajoof. But okay.
Yeah, but once again, it's an entirely different story with
But my point is, no Pepsi in this video, and no Guinness, and no Sprite. So you think, oh, of course, that doesn't mean that they have to feature every single combination, obviously, of the watch. But still, it makes the rumors a bit more credible, right? Is it true? Who knows? Who knows?
I'm watching the video now as well.
Okay.
So yes, there's a root beer, a airplane in the sky.
An airplane in the sky, yes.
A Batman for sure. Jubilee bracelets. There's Batman again. An oyster bracelet, stainless steel.
I think there's
another airplane in the sky, and then something gold.
Yes,
but I believe this is the one from last time. This is the all this stuff. Wasn't this airplane in the sky from last year?
Yeah, and this.
If I'm not mistaken, they released this video last year for last Basel. So Rolex has this thing.
Maybe it's a shortcut. Sorry, a shortcut.
No, they do this. And Rolex is very particular in this. They did this 2 years ago when everyone said they're going to release a new Milgauss.
Yeah.
And so right before Basel or whatever, Watches and Wonders, what did they do? They posted every single day a video about a Milgauss. And everyone's like, it's for sure. It's for sure. Look at all the Milgauss videos they're posting. And then they come out and nothing happened. There was not a single Milgauss related thing.
Yeah, and now the Milgauss
And then they
is
discontinued it the following. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that year either. So they literally didn't touch the Milgauss, but they put 5 videos or so up just to throw people off the track.
It's crazy.
But everyone
isn't it?
says, remember, 1954 was when the GMT GMT started, the Master one.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it is 70 years old. So it has to be this year if they're going to do an anniversary.
Yeah. But then, you know, sometimes you feel like, okay, what was the anniversary of the Explorer 2, for example? They didn't do much, right? It's just like, okay, 42.
Also, if you think about it, that means last year would have been an anniversary for the sub, for which they also did nothing.
Yeah.
So
and it's
that
like,
also doesn't.
we always try to, you know, but the good thing is, while speculating about this, what do I think will come? So I've seen a lot of YouTubers recently saying like, oh yeah, there will be more titanium watches. Well, there was now one every year, right? I mean, we had the big fat deep sea challenge.
Yeah.
That was titanium, and that a lot of people saying like, now
Could
that
you imagine
Rolex
a
has
sub
started
no
with-
date in titanium? Like, how insane would that be?
Yeah. I think that would be the Pelagos 39, and
It would be, but with a Rolex dial or a Rolex badge on the dial.
But I think it's always funny when people say like, now that they did the Yardmaster, they are now getting into titanium. But they had the deep sea challenge, and nobody seemed to have recognized that.
Well,
this
not
was
just that,
titanium.
they had a titanium case back on the deep sea forever. It's always been there.
Right.
Nobody seems to talk about that.
I know it's a bit like, oh, come on. Anyhow, so I do think they will be. There was.
By the way, let me just point out this is the irony of this.
Yeah.
All of the Pelagos models are titanium with a stainless steel case back. And the Rolex at the time was stainless steel with a titanium case back. So obviously the reason they switched the metals is because apparently they could somehow close together and then you couldn't get it back open if it was titanium on titanium. So apparently there's some issue with that. You have to mix the metals.
Is it really? I thought, I mean, the Pelagos FXD
Which one?
is not.
Yes, it is. It is. Look,
It's
yours
case
is
back,
as
no?
well. All of them are stainless steel case back.
Are you very sure about that?
I am 1,000,000% sure about it. I looked at mine. The color. Go grab your Pelagos and look. The color
I have
is
to
different.
Go so far in my vast mansion.
In your villa, your seaside villa.
I have to ask.
For those who don't know, Ralph lives on like
me.
the 45th floor of a high rise.
You know, it's too much of a hassle. I have to tell the maid to ask for the butler to ask for the watch carer.
So here it is on Hodinkis as well. But I will read you the reason now that we have the FXD stainless.
Yeah, I was so surprised.
So the reason that no quality titanium watch has a titanium case back has to do with the way they thread the case backs. To my understanding, titanium does not hold up well against itself since they are both hard metals. The threading will wear away much more steadily than a stainless steel case back would.
When did the Pelagos 39 come out? Was it 2022? Oh yeah, it was only 2022. My God, that's such a new watch. I think technically 2 years is not much in watch terms. Crazy.
So why? Who knows? I don't know. Some people comment it's due to the threading, as you heard, but how true that is, who knows? But there you have it.
Yeah, there I have it. It doesn't actually say this in this press release. It says grade 2 titanium, blah blah blah, satin brushed case, snowflake hands, manufacturer caliber, bracelet in titanium, everything titanium, but it doesn't talk really about the case back. Or does it?
Here, I have a Watch You Seek forum. Why? Yeah. Monochrome says the case back is steel on your 39. There is somebody on Watch You Seek saying, is the 39 Pelagos entirely titanium? And they said previous Pelagos models had always a stainless steel case back, and the marketing seems to suggest that it's full titanium. And people are saying, nope, it's confirmed by Tudor as definitely stainless steel case back.
Yeah, because when you go through the entire specifications of reference 25407N, it says case,
Nothing, yeah.
39 titanium grade 2, bezel grade 2 titanium, winding crown grade 2 titanium, dial, crystal, sapphire crystal, bracelet, titanium, everything titanium. Then about the movement, blah, blah, blah. Nothing mentions the case back being stainless steel. There's not I think the word steel.
No, the word does not exist. But everyone will tell you it is.
Weird.
I'm sure there's a way to check. I mean, just once again, look at it in good lighting, and look at the shade differences. That alone will show you. So it's gray for the case and silver for the back.
See, absolutely. I mean, my Black Bay 58 bronze obviously also had a steel case back, right?
That was for a hypoallergenic reason, right? So essentially, they do the bronze with, so that has nothing to do with the wear, right? That's more for the idea of not rubbing against your skin.
But the bracelet is full of bronze.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bit weird, right? I mean, yes,
because it's not just Tudor that does this. Oris also does this, right? Oris also has stainless steel case backs. So this is multiple companies doing it for some reason. But anyway, but somebody did say, if I'm not mistaken, the titanium Seamasters also had titanium case backs. So what gives?
But hey, this is the funny thing. Black Bay 58 bronze says in their press release pack, the press kit, it says reference 79012M case, bronze case, 39 millimeters in diameter, 11.9 millimeters thick, 48 millimeters from lug to lug, satin brushed finish, bronze colored, PVD treated steel case back. But they don't say that same thing for the Pelagos, which I feel really, really sad about. They should, if it is. Why did they omit this? There's a conspiracy going on, Martin. We have uncovered something.
Well,
but you have also uncovered something extremely interesting yesterday.
Which? What? What did I uncover?
The chlamydia.
Oh, Ben Clymer, yes.
The Clymer box.
The Clymeridia. So let's talk about this. Okay. So going into today's topic, which has something to do with titanium as well, we'll get to it in a moment. But the idea for today's topic, which we have wasted 30 minutes of your time, dear listeners.
We're getting to it.
We are getting to it, is... are G-Shocks a gimmick or are they real watches? And this is a very funny thing because I've heard more about this in the last 24 hours than I have for quite some time. Right. And the reason that this came out was because of the launch of the Ben Clymer G-Shock. So as you know, for a 3-year period, they made every winter a limited edition collaboration with John Mayer in different colors, all based on the G-Shock 6900.
Yeah.
Then they made the Ed Sheeran one this year, and they said that they were going to make 3 within the, I think, October, November, December timeframe.
Yes.
So Ed Sheeran came out October, followed it with this online ceramics, followed by just now, delayed for some reason, the Ben Clymer G-Shock, which of course has a lot of little things we're going to talk about. But I have seen so much hate. So essentially, I snooped around a little bit. They released this yesterday. We got the email yesterday stating that there will be a Ben Clymer G-Shock. But nobody knew what color, nobody knew anything about it. So I started Googling Ben Clymer G-Shock, hoping that there would be a leak somewhere. And funnily, on the Watch Pro site, there was a link. And they said, just announced, and there's a bunch of pictures. So I clicked it, and it said invalid link. So,
Yeah,
okay.
Rob Corder
But then I
is
went back.
in trouble. Rob Corder.
I went back, and of course, what happened? Well, Google had cached all of the images from the post, but they no longer existed online, but the cached version still did. So I downloaded them all very quickly, and I sent them to our watch fans, our watch groups, expecting everybody to be what I thought. I was like, this is super cool. I love the colors. I think it's a super fun, playful take. And the hate that I got from this was insane.
Yes.
And of course, the thing is, I didn't care because ultimately I like it. So screw everyone else, which is ultimately the takeaway from all the watches, right?
Yes. Buy what you
I
like.
just thought it was
Buy
such a
what
cool watch. So for those of you that don't know, it's two-tone gray. It's a light gray and a dark gray. So the strap is a darker gray. The head or whatever you want to call it is a light gray with a green dial. And I think that's super cool. The green dial, Ben Clymer states that it's from vintage dive watches, which I started thinking, and I wanted to ask you this: which vintage dive watches had forest green dials?
I have no single idea. I cannot remember a dive watch being green at all, unless you talk about the Hulk and maybe the Starbucks.
What about the Panerai?
They do have green watches, but I don't think historically. No. I mean,
so this is the verbatim quote.
Because from my perspective,
from dive watches,
they have used specific colors in the water because they have specific contrast. The deeper you go, the less you can see specific colors. The color spectrum goes down.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, you have this compression timer or whatever. They are not from Oris, from Mido, right? The one with the different orange shades, for example, on it, and the different colors. Because you cannot see different. Wait, let me finish. You don't have these different. The colors will on the watch. You will see how deep you are, based on which colors you can still see on your watch dial. So that's why I think
yes, of course. But didn't they say no? Blue is the best, right?
I think so.
So that's why we have a lot of blues. But essentially, he stated this very clearly, that it was vintage dive watch related. But it goes beyond this. He said they had made a lot of limited editions in this colorway before. I know this because my Oris is this exact color. And he said the Oris, as well as they made the IWC,
right,
which had this green on it as well. And he said both of those were from vintage dive watches. I don't know which watches he's talking about.
I don't know either.
But apparently. Now, ignoring this, let's just say, sure, why not? Who cares? What I am getting at is there are some cool stuff here. So I'm not they put NYC TYO ATL, which are IATA, which is the International Air Traffic Control City letters, right? So New York City, Tokyo, and Atlanta. New York City being for Hodinkee,
IATA
Tokyo being for Hodinkee, Japan.
Association of Travel Agencies. So
or something like this. And then ATL is Atlanta, where Crown and Caliber is, which they acquired, right? So those three have Hodinkee affiliations. Cool.
I'm sorry, no, you are absolutely right. Sorry, it's the International Air Transport Association. Air Transport, not,
I said air traffic.
Yeah, you're right.
So
it's International Air Transport Association, IATA.
Transport.
IATA.
What did you call it?
IATA.
No. What did you call it? What did you say the T stood for?
Travel Agencies. Association of
Travel Agencies.
Because they are actually, every travel agency gets a IATA number as well, so I mixed that up. It's not. It's Air Transport Association.
Anyway, basically, that being said, they chose these three IATA letterings. However, they chose a module that does not have a world timer. So if they'd gone for the 5610, it would have had the world timer module, but they went for the 5600, which is the bare bones module. So you don't get the world time.
Yeah. So
But-
it's I don't know what it means to me to have these three cities on that watch.
It has nothing to do with you.
No,
It
I
has
know.
to do with Ben Clymer and what he did in his time at Hodinkee. This watch is not about you. It's about him
All right.
and what means something to him,
Okay.
right? And he founded these three, or he acquired these three companies, founded two of them, acquired one of them
Okay.
during his time at the helm. So if it's going to have his name on the back of it, not Hodinkee, his name, then it should be something for him, right? If you're going to do something, which we'll talk about in a little bit, we would do our own things, right? Who cares what everybody else says? He does what was important to him. But the other cool thing, it says at the bottom at the 6 o'clock position, it says Casio Casio. Do you see this?
No.
It has Casio written twice
Really?
with a line in between, which is a homage to the
Right. Yes.
double
Yes.
Swiss Daytonas, where they used to have Swiss with the line in between,
Oh.
which I think is super cool.
Yeah. Why I think this watch doesn't get the love I feel personally is because it looks
Plain.
odd and boring.
I am Captain Boring. I'm okay with that, and I'm happy to have a boring watch.
But why it doesn't speak to me at all is I think I completely don't like the two-tone gray. I think if the watch would
I love
entirely
it.
dark gray or entirely light gray, fine. But the combination
leave
for
it.
me is just like,
Okay, let me tell you why it's two-tone. Why I like the two-tone. First and foremost, the material that they use on the top and the strap are different. So first and foremost, you might not be able to perfectly color match. Let's just throw that out there. Secondly,
it's just
by
had to-
having a million G-Shocks in the past, I know for a fact rubber straps get discolored. By having a light gray strap, it's going to turn colors over time.
Nah, not really that much.
Yes, I had a white one that turned yellow.
Yeah, but
100% lighter
yes,
colors
white-
will turn colors.
White
Yeah, but
plastic,
maybe even
and
like
transparent
maybe
plastic will discolor, of course. but
Yes.
black and gray does.
light gray. This is close enough to white. I think it might. But anyway, point of story. I have no issues with the two-tone. Once again, I think it looks great. It has a green keeper to match the dial that says Hodinkee on it, which is also cool. I'm colorblind. So what color is the writing, the G-Shock writing on there? Yellow?
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, I
It's
think
the
it's
same
cool.
as
But now,
the keeper. I think.
okay.
The same color.
Yeah. So now getting back to all the hate. So many people were complaining, oh, it's a G-Shock. It's a throwaway watch. It's such a cheap watch. Why would anybody buy a G-Shock? I'm pretty sure half these people bought a Moon Swatch, which is the same views I have towards the Moon Swatch. But the thing is, for me, a G-Shock is going to last 20, 30 years.
It can last
Moon Swatch is
longer.
not.
I mean, this is
Even longer. Well, depending on which generation it is, for a while, the older ones, the ones we had as, younger kids growing up, not, kids, but, the ones 20 years ago, those had apparently the straps would dry out and dry rot.
Yeah.
But apparently they changed the composition of the rubber so that no longer happens. But even with those old ones, you can just replace the rubber. G-Shock sells, Casio sells entirely new shells that you can buy and
They
straps.
do indeed. I mean, you can't fault them for not supplying any kind of replacement parts for their watches. You can replace every single thing on them, and they're publicly available. You don't have to be a watchmaker to buy them, right? You can go to Pack Parts in the US and just get everything, every little detail.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is I maintain that while inexpensive, this is not like Swatch. Swatch is by definition a throwaway watch. This is not. This is a real watch that should be given the respect that it deserves. And I feel that a lot of people don't give it the respect that it does deserve.
I feel it's just not speaking to me. I do like that it's
Not this watch. I'm saying G-Shock in general.
General G-Shock.
Because in general, did you notice a lot of the hate that we saw in the group was not about this G-Shock, but about G-Shocks in general. And that was my issue, is screw the colors. Colors are subjective. Everyone can just say they like what they like. But for someone to attack G-Shock as a whole, that I don't agree with. It is.
Yeah, this is blasphemy. Generally, I mean, for me personally, I just don't understand why all of these watches have, why not a GMW B5000? I want to have a special edition that is cool, that has some nice design twists.
The reason why not the GMW 5000, he mentioned this, is he wants it under $200 every single time.
Okay, but even for under $200, you already find some solar powered ones and stuff like that that don't use a battery, right? And for me, it's just
okay. I told you why it's not solar powered. In solar powered ones, so this one has a Hodinkee H on the backlight.
Yes.
In order to have the Hodinkee H on the backlight, you have to have the luminous, whatever you call it. What is it called? What is the word for it? The electroluminescent backlight. Anything with a solar power that would draw too much battery power.
I mean,
that's
mine
the
has
way they've
the
always
same
done it.
backlight, our GMW, because it's a normal battery.
No, it's not.
It's a rechargeable battery.
So
it lasts
yes,
6
but
months.
this one Okay, once again, let's get into what we're wearing, because we are both wearing solar powered G-Shocks. However, they are very different. So mine is the homage to the original, the GW 5000U, which is the Japan only stainless steel core, stainless steel screw down case back, resin / rubber version. So this is identical to the first G-Shocks that came out before they started having these quote unquote carbon cores, which are of course much lighter, and they stopped using screw down case backs. So this is as close to an original G-Shock as you can get. Now, this one does have the module, which is in the DW 5610s or DWM 50, whatever they're called, the 5610s, which has the world timer module, solar power, and the multiband 6. However, the batteries in this are not the same as the batteries in the watch that you're talking about right now. If you look at the backlight on mine, it is a single light. I don't know if you can see this, Ralph. I'll put it up to the camera.
Yeah, you have like
it is a single light source.
Yeah.
Coming from, I don't know how well you can see this. It's a single light on the side. And the reason for this is because it takes much less battery. Meanwhile, with the other ones, essentially you would just change the battery if it wears out. So you have infinite power. On the one that you're talking about, which you're wearing, which is GMW.
Yeah.
GMW.
I am wearing the
5000?
GMW B5000 TVA, and it looks exactly the same as yours on the first glance.
No, yours is metal, but yeah, looks
from a distance, nobody would see it.
From a distance, you'd be surprised, yeah. So yours, if you've looked at the manual, I don't know, have you read the manual for it?
No.
Yeah, I went into detail on the PDF. On the app, you have the PDF.
I don't need to because I have the entire manual printed on the watch.
Okay.
More or less.
Yeah, on the back.
You have text everywhere. Every little, actually every link has text on it, right?
Different text?
No, the fixed links, they say, oh, now I need a bit of magnification here because I can't actually read this because it's so small. The first links say S-1474 DV, diamond-like carbon coating base titanium. And then it says -01, then -02, -03 for the next links. And then it goes on to, with the replaceable links, right, says joint pin removal. Well, and an arrow. On the outside, of course, I have diamond-like carbon on the sides of the case. I have on the front of the case, of course, the normal G-Shock protection, blah, 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 what it says. Then Casio Tough Solar, multiband 6, Bluetooth, and so on. And it also says shock-resistant structure protects the case and bezel from induced shocks. 20 bar resist. Water 20 bar resist. Anyhow, that's a bit funny. Then I have this little cutout here you can show you here, this little cutout, the red one. If you look in the camera there, this little cutout.
Yes. I see it.
And
with squares around it.
Around it, it says, that it's a fine resin cushioning. Huh? Fine resin cushioning. And on the clasp, I have I have really a small
paragraph.
It says 3459, which is the module in, multiband 6. It says a built-in miniature antenna conducts high sensitivity reception of standard time radio waves carrying time information and corrects the time automatically. All right. And then I have the CE logo and the IC logo and the Bluetooth logo on it. This is amazing. Has so much of text. I can read, if I'm bored, I can just read my watch. And then, of course, on the screw-in case back, you have the normal stuff that is always on the back of these GMW B5000s, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff written on it. And it does actually have a sapphire crystal. But usually it used to say that on the front, but in this case it doesn't. Because these titanium ones usually had a sapphire crystal. Or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Because usually they say that. Light, start, stop. I had all of the in functions, adjust, la, la, la. Yeah, so that's my GMW B5000 TVA. And I love this watch because it's such a light watch, so comfortable to wear, warm to the touch with the titanium. It just feels absolutely spectacular.
Yes.
I love it.
I got you. Now, back to the battery thing that we were talking about. If you recall.
I recall.
I have looked up the manual. I've read both.
Okay.
Would you like to know how many hours it takes to charge your watch from dead to full in, we'll say, I'll give you every scenario in high lighting conditions or low lighting conditions. So to get it fully charged, in outdoor sunlight, to go from dead to full, you need 45 hours.
That's not too bad.
That's outdoor direct light. That's over 2 days, or roughly 2 days, right? If this is indoor fluorescent lighting, it's not even possible.
Yeah.
They say it's not possible. If it's, what was the other one called? Daylight through a cloudy window, then it takes 274 hours.
Yeah. Which makes total sense because it's very little light and you have a very small solar panel.
Okay.
Right?
Now, let's take the other model.
Mm-hmm.
The same watch, just the module that I have in mind.
Okay.
Full outdoor sunlight, full blast. From 45 hours, we go down to 6. Okay. Daylight through a cloudy window, we go from 274 to 54 hours.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference in I don't know if it's the size of the battery, if it's the size of the solar. I doubt it's a solar cell they're using. I think it's the same.
Which battery do you have in it?
With
I
the
have
Bluetooth,
a CTL 1616.
I have no idea what I have in this. Let me look at the back.
Because that's a 2.3.
This doesn't say anything. This is not like yours that says everything on the back. This has just shock resistant written on the back.
No, I had to look this up as well, but you can just, what is your reference number of your watch again?
I'm just going to do the 5610 because it's the easiest one to find information about.
5610 Casio battery.
Changing battery. It is a... This is a riveting information.
Yeah, it will be absolutely fantastic.
CTL 1616. What is yours?
CTL 1616. Same.
So then what's it? Where does this difference come?
What do I know? From the radio wave reception? Bluetooth?
No, Bluetooth would have power draw. It would have nothing to do with charging. Maybe because it's using the Bluetooth at all times, right? So hence, the power usage is more.
You can switch this off, the Bluetooth usage. I mean, it's
yeah.
But my point is, it has all
mine
of these
is on all the time.
It has all of these different components that might draw a bit more power.
Yeah, so essentially it's drawing power while it's charging is the explanation.
I think it's also tiny. Is it the display is a bit bigger? No, it isn't. No, right? Six
it's not,
bands.
but
you also have
mine
6 bands,
mine is
right?
bigger. And mine is 6 bands as well, solar. But what I like about mine and dislike about yours is I have a battery level indicator on the dial. A power reserve, so to speak. Mine says
I just have to look at the app.
Low, medium, high.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't connect to an app, so you have to find another way to do it. But yeah. So anyway, point of story. Let's go a little bit into G-Shock. It's very clear we're both G-Shock fanboys. We both like G-Shock squares. But ultimately, squares are not the only G-Shocks in the world, right? So for those of you that want a little history here.
But they're only ones that actually count.
Yes, true. It's partially true.
For me.
I want to say that there's an exception.
Okay.
So 1983, the original G-Shock was born, the one that looks exactly like mine, aside from a few markings. And mine has that diamond-like coating on the case back like yours. The original one was silver. This came out in 1983. Kikuo Ibe was the guy that invented it, and he wanted essentially a watch that could basically be tossed off a 10-meter thing, a battery that lasted 10 years.
Yeah.
And there was another 10 bar water resistance. I think it was the 3 10s.
Yeah. I think that's what he wanted, but then he actually made it 20 bar, right? But yeah, it was.
Yeah, he made it 20 bar at the end. Yeah. So then essentially nothing really happened. Some people argue that there was another watch in between these two. I didn't like anything until 1995 when the DW6900 came out, which is the rounded version with the thing that I like most about it, that big G button in the middle for the backlight, which I think is super cool.
Right.
But they had those running little circles, the triple I or whatever they call it, which I don't know. They serve zero function or purpose. And I don't like it because of that. I think ours, the squares, are true to form, the originals.
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, they made a bunch of other crazy stuff. Mudman, Rangeman, etc., Frogman. And then the most recent, I guess the biggest thing that has happened was in 2019 when they came out with the Casio, right? The GA 2100s.
Yes.
Which I also don't like because I don't like analog digi. It's either one or the other. I don't know why you would want a G-Shock to have an analog dial.
Love that. I love this, the Casio. It's a cool watch.
You like it?
Yeah, I have had a few. I recently sold
you
them
have.
because I needed
I've
to
had one,
but,
sorry, I've tried them on. I've never had one. I have to say they're very thin, which is
they're nice.
Not G-Shock E, right? Yeah. So that's kind of funny. But at the end of the day, that was a big, a very popular thing. But anyway, let's stick with squares for now, right? We like squares.
Yeah.
Basically from 1983, then I think it was 1985, they offered the first color G-Shock, which was, drumroll, what color was it, Ralph? Do you know?
It must have been white. Yellow.
No.
Red.
Yellow. It was the yellow one. So they had the yellow G-Shock.
Yellow G-Shocks look super cool. I love them.
They do. Yeah. They do. Absolutely cool. So they have the yellow one. And then moving down the line, they had the metals that were launched in 2018, which I am also a very big fan of.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I own one. I have the silver one, I think, which is kind of
It's the
the
quintessential
most
one,
original.
Yeah.
The once again, as you said, with the G-Shock I bought from Hodinkee last night, it's boring,
But you bought it.
and I like the boring.
I didn't know that
Which
you
one?
bought it.
Of course, I bought it.
It's still
I was-
available today, so
It is. I thought it would sell out faster, but I don't mind.
maybe
I
they
have
just have a
no-
lot of them. Who knows?
I think they did make a lot for sure. But once again, I don't care. Sell out or not, I like the watch. I could give less a rat's ass what anybody else says. So
You
I'm very
enjoy
much
it.
okay with it. I do. I like it. So I'm happy with it. But
Yeah.
point of my story is that I know your passion lies in the metal. So
Totally. I mean, I do.
Why?
I do also like
What-
the
what's
rubber
the-
versions of it, but I absolutely prefer the metal above it. And I didn't believe I would like a metal version of a Casio at all. I thought it was rubbish. I mean, what was it when it came out? $500 or something when it initially came out.
$550, I believe, right?
Oh, and now it's
And now it
selling-
went up to $580.
No, I think the GMW. The GM is it
Yeah,
list price? But no, I think it's lower. It's
Maybe it
400,
was
no?
500. Maybe it was 500. I think you might be right.
I
It was
think at the
500 and
time
then it went up.
was insane to spend that much money. I thought it was insane to spend that much money on a Casio. I mean, though there were like the Mudmasters and others that also on some Pro Tracks that are expensive, right? But I didn't think. I mean, 5,000 for just a normal watch that you can get for like what 200, 150 or so. This with this more or less the same module. I thought that is silly. Who would do that, right? Then I put it on
Yeah,
the wrist, and
yeah, yeah.
then the end is. that was
The end, and you said, no, the thing was, I saw these first at Basel in 2019. And I mentioned this before, but they had essentially two columns all the way sky high. One side was the silver ones. And at the time, of course, they only had two colors. And the other side was the gold ones.
Mm-hmm.
So all the way as tall as, 2 stories probably. I don't even know how many there was, hundreds and hundreds of each one. And it just looked so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm very, and that really put a soft spot in my heart for him.
Mm. I also, the more I actually learned about Mr. eBay, the more you think, my God, this guy is such a nerdy engineer who never gave up and did so much of trial and error. And he's such a sympathetic person. When you see interviews with him and all of his stuff, it's just like you think like, yeah, I want to buy watches from this guy. Don't you think? It's just
I do. I
such
like
a
him.
nice face for Casio, which is usually, I mean, these watch brands are a bit like Rolex. They're faceless, right? There's no person
Yeah.
representing them. They're just a huge conglomerate, and they churn out watches, and nobody speaks to the press really. But this guy is really like the spokesperson for G-Shock, and he's just fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, it's lovely.
I agree. I think he's definitely a cool guy. So essentially, I mean,
When did
it's
the
just a
metal
brand for
version
some
came
reason.
out again? Do you remember that?
The what?
The metal one, the silver metal one, the GMW.
What about it?
5000.
Well, when?
When did it come out? I forgot.
2018. 2018.
18 only. That's amazing.
18
only 5
at
years.
Basel.
Yeah, five years ago, basically. Crazy. 6 years ago now.
So I mean, it's truly a cool piece for sure. Anyway,
Yeah.
point of story, if there's a point to this story, is that we both like G-Shocks. So this was supposed to be a deep dive into G-Shock, but we kind of ran out of time again, as usual. But
But the deep dive, I think that you can get deep dives from other people or the history of the Casio and G-Shock. I think this is more our take on the brand, right? So which is also quite interesting to say, like, what do we deep down think about this brand? This is our diving deep into our desire for watches of that specific brand, or what we think about it. We can say that. It's not a deep dive
Yes.
as in going through the history and going every detail about it, but more about what we feel about this brand and what we feel in a bit more detail than we usually do. So that's okay.
Yeah, but I think we didn't get around to doing it fully. But anyway, by the way, when we mentioned that in 2018, we talk about the first metal, but that's the first metal square G-Shock.
Yes.
We should mention that the first metal G-Shock came in, I think, 1996. So it was very, very long ago. It was an MRG model.
All right.
The MRG 100, which was...
Yeah, and I think
cool.
Obviously there were tons and tons and tons of metal Casio digital watches. They were just not G-Shocks, right?
Yeah.
They were just so many of them, you can't count them. There was probably more watches. You can probably, if you line them all up, they will go to the moon and back. Or to the sun. Who knows?
Yes. Anyway, all right. Anything else we want to discuss? Oh, one thing that I do want to mention, since I have you here, I have pulled up, since we were talking, both press releases of the Pelagos 39, going back to the titanium debate, and the Pelagos FXD, the new one, the black dial one. On the 39, it says, as you said, 39 millimeter grade 2 titanium case with satin finish. Nothing mentioned about a case back.
Yeah.
On the Pelagos FXD, this is once again the black one, the most recent one, it says case. Titanium case, 42 millimeter in diameter, 12.75 thick, 52 millimeter lug to lug, satin brushed finish, fixed strap bars, steel case back.
Yeah, see, why do they not mention this for the P39? Should I now quickly go and get it and just see if it's actually mentioned on the case back? I will do it.
100% it is. It's not mentioned on the case back. It's not going to say anything. While Ralph leaves the room, I can regale you with some other neat facts about G-Shocks. So basically, I know way too much about this, unfortunately. In 1983, the original Square came out. Then the original Square was modified in...
So
I'm giving a G-Shock,
or
he
just need to
doesn't have
get
headphones
my
off.
headphones back into my ears.
I was just in the middle of giving them, the listeners, a G-Shock Square review history.
Okay.
But okay.
Sorry.
What do you have?
I didn't hear that because headphones were not in my face. So I'm looking now at the back of this, and I will just, because when you see here, I mean, from the view, it doesn't look.
You still have the sticker on.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
No, it's not.
It's not amazing. Okay.
You take it off.
Manufacture, la la la, la la la. It talks about all of the stuff: Genève, Tudor, manufacture, caliber, manufacture. It says nothing about anything being steel. Interesting. And if you look at the shade of everything, it is a different shade. It is steel. I'm very sure it is.
Oh, if only someone could have told you this before.
Yeah. But it could also not be. Huh.
All right, back to my story.
Yeah.
So it is, Ralph. There's nothing to.
But why don't they say it then?
Or do. It is.
Rubbish.
It is.
They should say it.
So
yeah,
let's talk about things that G-Shock did.
Okay.
So first model, I said 1983. Then they made a special edition, which was low temperature resistant. They could go down to -30°C. Then they introduced the DW 5600, which the 5600 made the big move from having a screw down case back to a screw in case back with 4 little screws, which of course was easier to manufacture. Is just pressed steel as opposed to milled. So it was just cheaper for them to manufacture. In 1988, they came out with a Baby G. 1992, first color model, as I mentioned, in yellow. Then we got, in 1996, the first electronic backlight. They call it the EL backlight.
Before that, they used bulbs.
In
tiny bulbs.
They lit exactly
with a glowing thread.
Which my 5610 that I used to have also still used. 1999, 96. They also got the bumpers. You remember the bumpers?
Yeah, yes.
Those were cool.
By the way,
99
I wanted to ask you one thing. When they use the bulbs, they still do that in the F91W, I think.
Yes, they do,
right?
And they used to up until 2020 use them in the 5610s.
Right.
The solar powered ones.
Interesting.
Because only the battery powered ones got the backlight or the electric backlight. For some reason, solar did not get it. All right, what else? And now it's still one bulb. I was showing you mine's still one bulb, but it's a LED as opposed to an actual bulb.
Yeah.
Before it was a bulb.
Yeah, and I think in mine it's also a bulb. I mean,
I think in yours it's two bulbs, two LEDs from either side.
I'm not so sure. I think
it's double.
Only one.
It's not an EL backlight. Anyway, moving on. They in 2001 came out with a metal strap for the watch, but still without a metal watch. So we had half metal, right? 2002 was the first solar model, which is kind of funny because you would think this had been done before, but 2002 was the first one. 2005, first radio controlled model. 2009 was the introduction to multiband 6. So before they did not have multiband 6. I guess it was Japan only, so they only did multiband 1, I guess it would be. 2010, they started playing with carbon fiber. 2012, Bluetooth. And then 2018, full metal.
Yeah.
So kind of a neat, glimpse of how all of this went. We do want to say that there was, before we said 2018, the first metal G. Well, there technically was another one besides the silver and the gold, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I think so.
Which one? The
gold.
Solid gold one.
Solid gold, yeah.
Yeah.
I had it in my hand.
So, yes, you told me.
They're only 30 made, right? I think.
I don't know how many there are made, but they're
only made 30, and I had
rare.
one in my hand. And I must say, I couldn't believe how much I liked it. I didn't like it 90,000 dirhams much, but it was really, really cool because I think there's a certain thing when they say about the luster and the shine of solid gold, right? That you don't get if you have a PVD coated gold and all of this stuff. But it's true. I mean, a solid gold stuff, even just looking at it placed on a table, it was really, really flashy, shiny, and so deep and rich gold. I mean, that's why I guess gold is such a, hot commodity because people love it. And you're seeing this watch there, and also the packaging. It came in this big wooden box with these padding and all of this stuff in it, and this the teapot, a big fat metal teapot.
Oh yeah, it came in a traditional teapot. Japanese teapot.
Yeah, and a handmade one, and then inside that is actually it was amazing. It was super, super nice to see that, and the watch is of course so heavy because it's such a big chunk of gold. And yeah, it was amazing to have
the price is also ridiculous.
Totally, it was like what $30,000 or something or more.
Yeah, something like this.
They want to, I don't know how, but the Dubai Mall boutique got one in, and that's years after it was supposedly sold out. And I asked them, like, how do you have one if it's actually sold out? But maybe they had some in some kind of safe somewhere stashed away or so. But anyhow, they came out and said like, yeah, you can have it. It's even selling with a discount. And I thought, poof, interesting.
That's so crazy.
I mean, discount, it's still way over $20,000, right? Or euros. But hey, it's a very special model.
It is. All right. Anything else you want to add before we cut it for the day?
Well, I think every watch person who is snuffing at the idea of a digital watch or specifically a Casio G-Shock, I mean, I must say, I do feel that all of these non-Casio digital watches for me mostly are a bit so-so, right? It depends. Some are okay, some are not. But I do feel Casio, for me personally, I think because we might all have grown up with the brand, or we were young when Casio was in and Swatch came around, and digital watches, or just in general, quartz watches were the thing. We have a soft spot for them, but you shouldn't discount Casios because, as you know, there's lots of famous YouTubers as well who are saying that they are God tier watch. They have they have a great history, and they have, I think, especially the G-Shocks have proven that a solid watch that is worn by probably 90% of all military personnel in the world is something that is as rugged as it gets, as easy to repair as it gets. You can get spare parts all over the world for it, and it is actually replaceable, repairable, whatever you want to call it to a certain extent. It's a fantastic watch, and you should never be snobbish about these kind of watches. They are an essential part of getting people into the watch hobby. It's not a smartwatch, even though they might have some smart features. These are proper watches from...
It's original, and I really do like that, that it is original, right? It's one of those watches that I feel is a unique design. It speaks to me somehow, but only the square one.
Yeah. No, I think I really think the Casio Oak is also cool. I also like it. What I don't like about the Casio Oak, and that's my little criticism there, is that the digital display that it does have is very small.
It's tiny. You need freaking a loop to view it.
Yeah, that's for me. Like, I should make that a bit bigger, and then it would be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, point of story. We love G-Shocks. We've said it 1,001 times, and there's no need to have.
Yeah, and especially
it doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be fancy. A G-Shock is a G-Shock, and I truly believe that there's nothing wrong. I wouldn't say wrong. It's the wrong word I'm using, but there's nothing to be scoffed at, and that's kind of what did upset me with all of these comments yesterday. It was just the negativity towards.
Yeah, and if you see the negativity that you now have, for example, for non-user replaceable batteries, right? There's a lot of the right to repair. There's a lot of people now actually getting into it and saying, well, everything that does have a battery that can't be replaced by the user is bad, and it's true. It is bad. Casio always had replaceable batteries. It's never been a throwaway watch that you throw away when the battery is dead. You could always put a new battery in, and it's usually done in any shopping mall in the world, and any Minutes shop or whatever small little watch dealer, they can do that for whatever, $5 in 10 minutes. So they're not throwaway watches. These are watches that are meant to last for a very, very long time.
Ages.
And actually, there's not much that can break. I mean, the module, obviously every module can also break, but I think the failure rate is super low. The only thing
if it breaks, you could buy a module.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super simple.
Yeah.
I've removed modules from these, and it is one of the easiest things I've ever done.
Yeah, and
4 screws.
And one of these things is like, but you never have to, just change the battery in your automatic watch because it just whines from you wearing it. Same is and this is why I like the newer Casios, G-Shocks, because they now have also the Bluetooth and solar powered module in it. In the beginning, they didn't. They had batteries, which I wasn't a fan of. But now that they have solar power.
So this was the first thing when I told Ralph about the new G-Shock, the Hodinkee one, he goes, it doesn't have a battery. So I don't know why you have this issue with the batteries when they cost 10 cents and you could replace it in 2 minutes.
I just have battery range anxiety. What if I am out in a small little island for 5 years and I run out of battery?
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't just 1 minute to the next stop working. You will notice that the dial starts getting dimmer and dimmer and dimmer.
I have range anxiety for battery powered watches.
Well, now I got one coming. So in addition, now that we've talked about this original yellow one, I think I'm going to get that one too.
Ooh, okay.
They have a reissue of the original yellow one, and that's also a battery-powered one.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, let us know.
Yes, please.
We're happy to talk about them.
Yes, please. We have managed to break the 1 hour by 20 minutes. Amazing.
Again, like why do we do this to ourselves? We continually are so bad at monitoring time.
No, that's good.
But at least we had a good time talking.
Yes, we did.
Right?
All right.
It's like the Ben Clymer G-Shock where Ben Clymer, you said, why does he have those things? Because he did it for himself. And in the same way, we crossed the time barrier, but we did it because we were having fun.
Yeah, but now let me just get one thing out for the negativity of Ben Clymer and Hodinkee. I think they just are a bit of a victim of their own success. I think they have moved on from this where they actually started with the enthusiast watch community, because there's only so much you can do, and they have shareholders, they have big companies that have invested. Even Louis Vuitton is a part of it, LVMH. So there is I think a bigger push for them to actually grow their audience, right? Because they need to grow their revenue, their everything else. So they need to hook people that are not into watches. Yes. And this is one thing that they were mentioning with this last collab that they did with Online Ceramics. And of course with Ed Sheeran as well. You get Ed Sheeran fans in one way. Online Ceramics is basically a company that makes clothing for very hippie bands. So if you don't know, John Mayer plays for a band called the Grateful Dead. He is now the lead guitarist in the Grateful Dead after the Grateful Dead guitarist passed away. So they had to replace him. So John Mayer has now been for, 15 years, 10 years in this band, the Grateful Dead. And they have a massive hippie audience, and a cult following. So apparently all of the Grateful Dead shirts, which they have a lot of skull motifs, a lot of tie-dye, a lot of this kind of stuff. The shirts are all made by this company called Online Ceramics. Mm-hmm. So John Mayer, who dealt with getting the shirts made, said, why not make this watch for us? And John Mayer had mentioned that the exposure that they got from these weird places that they have never even heard of that were covering the release of this watch was insane. People that were not even familiar with Casio G-Shock or Hodinkee were coming to buy it because of this Online Ceramics collaboration. So I think this is what they're trying to do, is just to bring people into the workspace, into the Hodinkee atmosphere. Right. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, so
last question before we go.
No, what I was saying, this is the negativity point. It's like it comes from them going away from being an enthusiast brand.
Yes, their
losing
core.
these authors that we were so accustomed to, right? And now shifting more to a lifestyle brand thing that is not from the hardcore watch nerds anymore satisfying enough. I mean, you get fashion advice from Hodinkee and stuff. And that's why I think actually this Hodinkee, the Ben Clymer watch, should be a cardigan. When I think of Ben Clymer, I think of his woolen cardigan or a tweed jacket.
Yes.
So I think that's what I'm missing on this watch. A tweed strap.
But okay, that would have been cool. Okay, so now this is exactly what I was getting to. Now, Ralph, in 10 seconds, you have free reign. What is your Ralph Pepicus designed collaboration G-Shock? Go. What model, what colors, what are you going to do?
Okay, I would have most likely a titanium metal G-Shock, but I would have that in a specific nice satin colored blue. Doesn't exist.
Okay.
Nobody has this in a nice deep blue like my Blancpain 50 Fathoms, this nice saturated deep blue, but with the satin touch to it. So it feels like velvet or looks like velvet. They have this, like in my black titanium here, this is not polished. It is like the satin brushed one, and it's really cool. And I want this with a very intense blue glow to it.
Okay, but they made one all metal GU that was stainless steel, but it was blue, but it was gloss blue. But it was very similar.
No,
I think it was the Midnight.
Yeah, but not the GMW B5000, I think, no?
Yes.
In
They made a
blue?
GMW B5000 in blue. Yes.
I don't
I saw it. They had it at the Timepiece 360 auctions.
Nah, I would know that. I would have that.
Yes, I think search
They have a
Midnights.
purple one.
Here it is. Is it purple? No, it's blue steel. Here it is.
Huh? Where? Where? Where?
It's GMW B5000G-2.
GMW B5000-2?
G-2. Blue steel square. Oh, it has the band is.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just the head
I
is?
know. This is with the rubber band. No. That's not the one. And also the blue
No,
is
I
too
didn't
light.
see- yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like this. No. And that's a shiny. Yeah, you're right. They had a blue head. But no. And also
not
this
the
blue
blue
is
band?
too bright and shiny. I wanted it to be a very rich, saturated dark blue.
Yes,
Yeah.
got you. So
And
there is
of
no
course,
blue
no-
in full metal,
No
right?
negative display. It will have a positive display for me.
Yeah, okay. So this is exactly, I'm going to do mine now. I'm debating on what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, generally speaking, I would probably go titanium as well,
Okay.
or stainless steel. However, mine would be boring. I would go, once again, a positive dial, definitely not negative.
Mm-hmm.
I would go full brushed titanium, a la the color of the Pelagos.
Yeah. Okay. Not bad.
That's
I would like that.
kind of it. That's kind of it.
Also
I
positive
got nothing
display.
else. Positive display, absolutely. So I would do that. And I don't need anything else. I think it could be stainless. It could be titanium. I would prefer the darker gray of the titanium.
I think that could be a perfect
that's
one-watch
really
collection.
simple.
That's the only watch you ever
I
need.
think so.
This is
The other option that I would do, there's one other option that I would do, would be if we went resin, I would go gray, medium gray. Let's take the two Hodinkee grays, meet in the middle. Okay. Positive dial, resin, but instead of the strap, we go for the old resin link bracelet. If you remember the resin link
I
bracelet
love that resin link bracelet.
in gray. I don't think they ever made a color in that
No,
bracelet.
I think it was only black, right?
It was always black. So imagine that in gray.
Yeah.
That would be the Martin Gergely, boring as always, G-Shock. I'm going to say screw the
Mine is
titanium.
not
I'm going for
riveting
the resin
either.
version.
It's just blue. But
No, but once again,
yeah.
why do we want such plain things? So you're over here complaining that the G-Shock is too
well, we have
plain,
all-
and yet you want a plain one.
they already had I think in the GMW B5000 range they had this Tron version with the squares on it.
which is
They
too
had
much
the
for me.
printed circuit board on it. They have a lot of different colors and all of this stuff. But I think the ones that are some are a bit gaudy, I guess. But they do have fun, and I like that. I think watch companies should have fun. Of course, they will be polarizing with that, but I think that's good, right? You should always have a bit of fun.
All right. Now on this,
Boom.
they did make a full metal blue. I knew I was right. A GMW B5000 PB6.
GMW
I knew I was right.
B5000. What?
PB6. P as in Paul, B as in boy, 6.
PB6.
And it's a much more subdued blue. The Midnight Tokyo.
know this
I
is
am correct.
that's not blue. That's purple.
They call it Midnight Blue.
Yeah, that's
that is
rubbish.
literally
That's
the
rubbish.
name of the color.
Yeah, that's purple.
It's
But
not purple, it's blue. But anyway,
It
super
says
cool.
here the
Anyway.
iconic. Oh no, this is Tokyo Twilight inspired. Yeah, no, it says here
It is.
the iconic square face gets a new look with stainless steel case in purple.
Oh, is it purple? Fine.
Oh,
Fine.
so-
I'm colorblind.
Sorry.
All right.
You're excused.
We are way
because
over
you're
time.
colorblind.
We appreciate you listening
Yes,
to us
thank you so
babble
much.
on and on. But, once again, we'll see if we get any of our limited edition G-Shocks coming your way. Lume Plotters.
Yes. We
It
need
would
to
be
create one.
Ralph X Lume Plotters X Casio X G-Shock. Just like Hodinky did, right? Technically, it's Hodinky X John Mayer X Casio
Yes,
G-Shock
exactly.
X Ben Clymer.
Yeah, and
So-
we will create the first Casio G-Shock with Lume.
Sure, we'll put some Lume on it.
Somewhere.
Oh,
put some
I have an
Lume
idea.
somewhere.
No, it's super simple. Where? The G-Shock on the front.
Yes, exactly. It should
And where
glow
it says
in the dark.
protection and G-Shock will be loomed. Boom. Done.
That's it.
Mic drop on that bombshell.
Perfect.
It's time to end.
Alrighty.
See you next week.
Bye. See you.